Live your life like your father's dead. A very wild statement to make, don't you think? Why would anyone say that? It's such a negative way of looking at life. You're right, partly. It's an extremely wild thing to say. But then again, it's a representation of reality, which is oftentimes vile itself. But it's not a negative way of looking at life. It's far from it. This idea stems from stoic philosophy, which essentially argues that you must willingly undergo unpleasant scenarios to live a happier and more competent life. But this line specifically, live like your father's dead, hints to an extreme sort of an independence that most upper middle class boys and girls in India are just very, very far from achieving. We have a safety net. Our parents, whatever we do, they've got our backs. And rightly so. Why wouldn't they want to protect us from the devil that this world is? Most times, however, we believe that whatever our parents say is reality. So it's easy to live in a bubble until you're let out to live in the world by yourself. Which is when that bubble pops and you fall down on the concrete ground by your back. That feeling of hitting the ground is nothing short of the realization that the world's coming after you. And you need to have your guard up before you get sucker punched. We must be prepared to fall on the concrete floor. Because if we don't prepare, we break our back and cry about it. But if we do prepare, you may or may not break your back, but you sure as hell will know how to walk right after. Now, for a minute, forget about your parents and concentrate on yourself. And ask yourself, would you rather be safe or strong? When you're safe, you're essentially hiding. You're shielded away from all the evil. You can't be prepared to face something you're hiding from, which is why I believe being strong is the way to go. Easier said than done, of course. But how does someone begin to become stronger? Here's when stoicism kicks in. When your father is dead, you have no one else to fall back upon, so you have 100% accountability to yourself. With a safety net, you tend to procrastinate accountability, so you essentially are supposed to be your own parent. And there's an interesting mental model to use to reinforce this idea in your life. You establish and categorize voices in your head. One's that of your parent, that is rational and that innately knows what's wrong and right. And the other is that of a little kid in you that wants that candy no matter what. So once a craving comes in and you think you might just give into it, you'll be able to identify the little kid in you and tell it to shut right up. You'll be able to identify which parts of your life are governed by the little kid and which parts by the parent. And because your mind works on proof, you'll get way better at it once you do it often enough. I take this a step further and say that you must treat yourself like your own child. I don't say this so that your kid would look at you later and say, "Wow, my dad's so cool." No, I say this because you wouldn't want your kid to be some loser who doesn't end up achieving anything in life. So you're harsher with them than you are to yourself. So, be someone you want to raise. Jordan Peterson has said something a little similar to this in his book, 12 Rules for Life, where he says, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. And he is spot on. And this is going to be hard. To shift your accountability from your parents to yourself is perhaps the biggest and the most defining leap you might ever take in your life. Because no one's as close to you as your parents are. And I say this because the relationships you share with your parents trickles down to every other relationship you have in your entire life. And this is extremely important for you to think about, because all the productivity hack videos on YouTube won't get you to finish that assignment, or write every day, or even be more creative in general. These things come from within. They come from your head and what goes on deep inside it. Surface level hacks just don't cut it. You need a mindset shift to change your behavior.